Good morning, students. On a fresh day, on a fresh morning, I welcome all of you to GYANJYOTI online classes. Students, today we will study the third chapter in history, that is the early farmers. In the previous class, I have taught you the chapter number 2, that was early humans. This is the successive chapter, you can say, the next chapter about early farmers. Students, in the previous chapter, we came to know that how human evolution took place, how they were once walking on their four legs, that is called hominins, 2 legs and 2 hands, but after a few years they became bipedal, means they knew how to walk in their 2 legs and they stand upright, that is called Homo erectus. And then how they settled on different places, how they moved from one place to another. They were called wanderers, nomads. Who are nomad, students? A person who moves from one place to another in search of food, in search of shelter. So that was the life of early humans. What type of different tools they were using, and how the discovery of fire, that's the most important discovery in the life of human beings, that is the discovery of fire, how it came to existence. It may be accidentally, but that helped them a lot. Students, then they knew the art of growing crops, farming, agriculture, I can say. Then there is a word called, this was the time when the early farmers became from food gatherers to food producers. That is what we are reading. You know, students, the meaning of word farmers? Farmers means kisan. Is a person who grows crops for us, grows different type of grain for us. They cultivate them, they harvest them, then it is able to be edible, to be eaten. That's why the early humans, they knew the art of cultivating, agriculture, harvesting, sowing, everything. That was also done on an accidental manner. When they ate some fruit and threw the seeds on the ground, with the help of sunlight, water, oxygen, everything, the plants grew up day by day, gradually. Then they saw that how it happened. Then they came to know that after sowing the seeds, after a proper plantation process, the tree or a plant grows. That's why they knew the art of growing plants or the art of cultivating. We have already read that humans were initially hunters and gatherers, students. Yes, it's true. Then in the next stage, how the humans emerged as farmers. That we'll read in this very chapter. The answers to all our imagination and speculation will come true in this chapter, that how the early humans became early farmers, from food gatherers to food producers. That is the most appropriate title of the chapter it can be. The first one is the subtopics students will study about the domestication of animals. Students, what is domestication? Why the need of animals was needed? Students, as we know that the discovery of fire, the humans knew too little. They knew how to stay inside the caves. They lived outside the caves to be safe from the wild animals like the lion, like the bear, like the fox, elephants will lit the fire. But now they knew how to tame some animals, how to tame some domestic animals like cow, buffalo, goat, hen, and most of the types of animals. They tame them, they domesticate them. Sheep was also one of them. We must have also begun domesticating animals. The early humans, their time they have lived around 12,000 years old. Students, remember these words, 12,000. Students, the wild animals, they can't be tamed, they can't be kept at home, but when we tame animals, the domestic animals can be kept inside the home. Around 12,000 years ago, they had started taming animals like sheep and goats. Then they provided milk to the early humans. They knew how to take out milk. They were also known as the milk animals. These tamed animals were bred and some could be killed also for meat. So as we know, nowadays also in the future, in the primitive time also they hunted the goat, the sheep for eating meat. Then after this, later on they knew how they should tame them, how they should tame them, domesticate them to take out work from them. And in different settlements they were staying, they were residing, they were also keeping these domestic animals along with them. The wolves began to see the people as friends and not threats. Students, you know wolves and jackal, they are wild animals, but they became friends to the early humans. Nowadays we can't do so because they are very dangerous. Then, thus, they became tame over the time. Thereafter, they were used by the humans as working dogs. Hunters used the dogs to help them to find wild animals so that they could be killed. Dogs were also very useful in different manners. In keeping watch, they were working like dogs. Later on, when the wheel was invented, early humans used the tamed animals to pull the carts. Students, then the next topic is the beginning of farming. How the farming was beginning. There's a subtopic inside farming that is called the tools. How tools and what type of different tools they used. In the previous chapter, we have studied about core tools and flake implements. Now, what type of tools are needed to farming. Then, the topic we will start from. In our day-to-day life, we observe fruits and seeds falling on the ground and plants growing out of them. Students, we know when it comes to plants and trees, there are different parts of it. Like, there are some plants which is grown to take the fruit. Some plants are grown to take the flower for eating purpose. There are some plants which leaves are edible. There are some plants whose trunk are edible. There are some shrubs, there are some herbs, there are some creepers. There are some plants which the roots are edible. So the different parts of different types of plants are being eaten and edible also. So they can't be taken as a whole, but different plants are used for different purposes. In our day-to-day life, students, we observe fruits and seeds. I have told you that falling in the ground and they grow into plants. Early humans, as you have earlier read, roamed about in the jungle in the search of food, and after a few years, they knew that how to grow plants. After seeing them, they knew how to harvest, how to cultivate. They may have then started growing their food on their own crops. As mentioned earlier, it is quite likely that men hunted for food, whereas women gathered fruits and berries. They have led to the women observing plants, selecting edible from inedible. Then, on finding them plantable, they started eating them regularly. After tasting them, they knew that whether it was edible or not. Then they started planting those type of trees or plants. Roaming around in the jungles, early human must have realized that the same season kept returning year after year. They knew, as we know, that now the summer season is going on. After 1 year, we will see the same summer season. After this, the rainy, then the winter. So this is a cycle of seasons. We know, but they didn't know. But after a few years, they realized that this one season can come one after another. Then people must have observed the changes in the crops that grew when seeds were sown in the soil before and after rains. Students, in India, we know that agriculture is a gamble of monsoon. It means we can see the paddy plantation in most of our state in the rainy season. Now also we are having, but due to lack of water, every farmer is unable to grow paddy in their fields. Some farmers are also, if least farmers are able to grow paddy cultivation and do farming. Then they would collect wild grains from the jungle and to try to grow them. As the wild grows began to be cultivated, and after a few months it became plants, and which were edible for their eating purpose. Students, then we will move further. Then Seeds sown in the soil before the rains could be easily watered during rains. As I have told you that water is the most important component in planting a tree or a crop. Then grains have been found at a number of sites in the prehistoric sites in Kashmir, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, and etc. etc. They soon learned to store food, and this meant they are no longer needed to move all the time to feed themselves. Thus, there was a major change in the life of humans. From hunter-gatherers, humans had become farmers. Students, one more thing I have to tell you that to store grains, nowadays there are some godowns. A lot of godowns are there. Government is doing a lot of work in storing them. But in houses, how we store, there are some jute bags where we can store. But what was happening in the time of early humans? There were some earthen pots. Students, you know earthen pots, mitti ka bartan you can say. So that were made, and then they were saving them the grains for a longer time. And by digging inside the earth also, they were saving the grains in a large manner. That helped them to keep the grains for a longer time. Students, then the next topic is in the subtopic can be the tools. What are the different tools? In the previous chapter, I have told you that core tools and flake implements were different types of tools used for hunting, used for digging. But in this phase, we'll study that what type of tools are needed for cultivation, for agriculture purpose. Students, then growing crops require different tools. It's obvious that we can't grow crops, we can't do agriculture with the help of ourselves only. We need some tools, some instruments. Nowadays, different modern instruments are present, but in the early time, in the primitive time, the prehistoric times, the early humans needed some different tools. The ground had to be cleared for cultivating the crops first. Then the patch of land would need digging before sowing seeds. When the crops were ready, they would need to be harvested. For all this, they need more tools where they were used or new tools were created for specific purposes. In the pic, in page number H19, you can see the farming tools, the mortar and pestles. You know, students, what are the mortars and pestles? There is a rock-like an object and cylinder-like rock which is used for pressing or for pasting the grains. Nowadays also we can find in our homes. In your homes, your mother, you can ask your mother, what are mortar and pestles? In the page number H19 you can see. They also began to use mortars and pestles to grind grains and other food items. Nowadays also we can see in our home. Such pestles and mortars are popular even in Indian homes today, like I have told you earlier. Now also we can see in our Indian homes, in our home we can see. Earthen pots were used for cooking as well as storing. Many kinds of pots have been found. Pots were made by hand and were irregular in shape because they didn't know the art of pottery. At some places, pots were made with coil method, where coils of clay were rolled over the basis to get the desired shape of the pots. Students, the invention of wheel took place in the period, and with the help of these wheels, the pots could be made faster and in great design they knew how to make. The invention of pottery, you can say, after the invention of wheel, made it easier for the early humans to make different types of pots and different earthen products. Students, the next topic is the settled life, and at last we'll study about religion. What is settled life? What do you mean by settled? It means to remain in one place, not to move from one place to another, like the nomads do. But they knew the art of farming, the agriculture. Then they knew how to stay in one place, not to move in search of food. Then during the Neolithic age, that is the New Stone Age, they produced food and gathered them and grew their own crops. They led sedentary lives in villages near the fields. Then dwellings were probably made on raised ground above the fields. Students, here dwellings mean the place of house, we can say, the place where they live. On raised ground, not just on the plain surface, it was on a raised ground the houses were made. In page number S.St you can see the types of houses in the Neolithic period that were called huts. Then, why this was this so? Rivers got flooded regularly every year. These huts were very small and close together. They were on one-room huts and had thatched roofs. These huts were generally surrounded by a mud wall or a fence or prickly bushes to protect them from wildly animals. At Burzahom in Kashmir, people lived in pits which were one of the evidences our archaeologists have found. What do we mean by pits? Pits means gadda, that they dig inside the ground and they lived there to save themselves from different dangers, wild animals also. These pits may have been made because of the cold winter. Winter also one of the reasons to save them from severe cold. Then the last topic is religion. What type of religion they believe, what type of religion they used to follow. In our country, thousands of types of religion people we can see, but what about the prehistoric types? What the early humans were following? Early humans depended on nature but could not understand natural phenomena. Students, they depend on nature but they didn't understand what the natural phenomena is going on. Thunder, lightning, seasonal changes, rains, flooding, and natural calamities like earthquakes, floods frightened them. They didn't know that why this is being held, why this is seen, why there is flooding of rivers, why earthquake is happening, what is threatening, what is thunder, what is lightning. They didn't know about it. Then these were mysteries to them and they could not control them. Yes, it's true. We also nowadays can't control the natural calamities. Whether it can be a cyclone, whether it can be a flood or a thunderstorm. Then, thus they might have begun to worship the forces of nature. The sun, the moon, the sky, rain, lightning, thunder, fire, etc. etc. These features of nature became their gods. Ceremonies might have been performed in their places to please them, and the different types of festivals related to this god were performed at that sort of time. Later they began to bury the dead. Students, one more thing, there's a universal truth that once a person has taken birth in this world, he or she must die one day. This is a universal truth that is true. As the sun rises in the east, a person has to die someday. Then, along with the dead, they buried items of the daily use, such as the pots, grains, barley, rice, tools and weapons. These graves were closed with large stone slabs called megaliths, and these megaliths have been found in South India. It means, megaliths means large stones. The practice of burying the dead with objectives often indicates the belief that there is a life after death. They believe that after death they can survive. Therefore, they were burying different articles which they need while staying, while living. Therefore, this indicates they believed on God and they believed after life. Friends, then we'll study the next topics. Students, now we will study about the settlements, about the houses, the residences we can see in English, and where they were staying, and where the archaeologists have found the different evidences, clues. Like, there's a main topic we can say early farmer settlements. As I've told you that they have become early farmers from early humans, or they are food gatherers to food producers. What were the settlements? Students, though many excavations, many archaeologists have found a number of Neolithic sites all over the world. Students, we all know that Neolithic age is the old stone age, including the Indian subcontinent. Prominent sites in the subcontinent are in the Kashmir, in East India and South India. The archaeologists, students, I've told you that the archaeologists are people who are doing excavations, doing researches and getting all the products, the objects found inside the ground They have also found different Neolithic sites where we can find the evidences that early humans existed. The settlements. The first one is the northwest India. Students, northwest area belongs to the Kashmir, Rajasthan, Gujarat region. Archaeologists made excavations at Mehergarh near the Bolan Pass. Students, Mehergarh is near the Bolan Pass where, as of now, it is one of the earliest villages that the historians know about. Mehergarh is a place where early settlements were seen. Historians think that Mehergarh is one of the places where early humans learned to grow barley and wheat for the first time. In that place, they have found some evidences where the early farmers knew the art of growing barley and wheat. Then, students, they also reared sheep and goats there. Archaeologists have found bones of other animals such as deer, pig, and cattle. This highlights the fact that the early humans who lived there engaged in domestication of animals as well as farming also. Remains of houses generally are all noticed there in the different settlements of Mehergarh. Each house had 4 or more compartments. Several burial sites have been found in Mehergarh. Archaeologists have found that a dead person who was buried with the goats. This indicates a possible of life after death. In the previous topic in the chapter religion, I told you that when a person was dead in their primitive life, they buried some different objects like the earthen pots, the ornaments, the clothing, because they believed that there was life after death. They might use after their death. Then the next one is the Northeast India. Students, we know what is the Northeast India. The states like Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, they all belong to the Northeast. But before that, there is a fact sheet in your book, that is the page number S21, that what we will go, now we will go in detail. According to the archaeologists and researchers, Stone Age people were using dental drills made of flint. 9,000 years ago, the archaeologists have found the evidences. A tooth from a Neolithic graveyard in Mehergarh shows clear signs of drilling. You know, students, dentists are in nowadays they are doctors for proper treatment of our teeth. In that era also, they were using some drilling instruments. Analysis of the teeth shows that prehistoric dentists could care toothache with drills made from flint heads. Students, they found some evidences, and a total of 11 drilled crowns were found, out of which 4 of the teeth showed sign of decay associated with the drilled hole. The form of dental treatment seen at Mehergarh continued for about 1500 years ago. The practice stopped in that area. Flint drill teeth are found abundantly at the Mehergarh site. So this type of proofs shows us that the early humans were curing their teeth by drilling method, by drilling different instruments that helped them on a larger scale. Then the next place is the Northeast India. Students, the Daujili heading, Mehergarh in Northwest India, Daujili heading is an important Neolithic site. Students, then if we take example of Northeast India, I have written some places. Daujili heading, Mehergarh was already being taught. Then Daujili heading situated in the state of Assam, in the present day Assam, in the Dima Hasao district. Archaeologists have found stone tools which include mortars and pestles. I've told you that mortars and pestles now they can see in our home also. Nowadays they are used to paste or grind some grains. Then this finding suggests that the people there grew grapes and prepared fruit from it. A stone called GYANJYOTI is also found. This stone was found in China and might have been brought from there. Some tools made of fossil wood and hardened ancient wood that turned into stone is also seen, and pottery are also being found at Dow's beheading. This type of evidences show us that the work done by the archaeologists have proved that there was a Neolithic site in Dow's beheading. Then the last one is elsewhere. Elsewhere means there is no. During this time in Turkey, there was a very large Neolithic settlement called GYANJYOTI. This place is situated in the country Turkey, GYANJYOTI. So that was also a Neolithic settlement. People living here used cells, cowries, and flint. All of these were not locally found and were brought from far away places like the Mediterranean Sea, Red Sea, and Syria respectively. Wheel carts had not yet been invented, so these were probably carried by the human beings. Students, as I told you that the products or the objects were carried out by the people and backs of animals because wheel was not discovered or not invented at that time in Turkey. And the people there lived in mud brick houses close together. The interesting fact about these houses is that they were entered through holes in the ceiling. So just imagine, if you entered from the roof, how it can be. You need a ladder to go down. The way we enter into our house, that is the doors. But they were entering inside the ceiling. They were making a hole inside the ceiling, and they were entering from that. Then they come down with ladders and stairs. As I have told you, if you enter your house from the ceiling, they enter with the ladders and stairs. This hole in the ceiling also acted as a ventilation and allowed the smoke from the ovens to leave. For when they cook in the ovens, in the fire, the smoke which came out, the hole inside the ceiling led the smoke to go out. That was acting as a ventilator. Students, so this was the 3 places which we have read about the early farmer settlement. The archaeologists have excavated or they have found. I hope you would have understood the chapter, and if you have any doubt, then you can ask me. And please, while you are going through this video, remember my words, please go through the book also. That will help you further. And by this, I will say you students, please stay home, stay safe, and take care of yourself. Thank you everybody. Have a nice day. Bye.